All right, we're going to jump in. We're going to do some more artwork today. I need to press the button a bunch of times real quick here for me to get my signal kicked. And so go ahead and beep, 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 beep. Uploads, streams, channels, no videos. What the? I am streaming, right? Elemental key. Let's see if this is working. Okay, good, it's working. Sorry for delay. I just gotta make sure I push out hellos to the multiverse so that I can do the do. It'll only take a moment here. Just gotta press copy paste like a dozen times here real fast. But yeah, so we're going to continue our work. I think I'm going to be working on the Drow a bit more today. Drow, whatever. Shut up. So Drow versus Druger. Age-old conflict. This time being fought through the elements of earth and air. That feels pretty good. I'm pretty comfortable with Drow being air. Tunt. I think that's all the signals I needed to boost. And I'm going to drop into there. And then cool. So let's see. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but and by not a lot of sleep, I don't think I got any. It's interesting that what I go through when I lay down and sleep is my body starts relaxing, but my brain doesn't turn off. So what ends up happening is I dive into the sensations I have in my body. I've had a lot of physical trauma in my life, falling off of cliffs and landing on my head, being hit by a truck at 60 miles per hour, spraining my ankles multiple times by stepping off of curbs I didn't realize that weren't actual steps, and ended up falling into potholes. I'm pretty blind, so I get damaged a lot. And there's all sorts of weird scarring and trauma inside my body from that process. No tears. But the end result of it is that when my body relaxes, it starts finding these points of pain, and it starts connecting different thoughts and ideas about myself to what's related with that pain. So at the end result of it is during this quote unquote sleep time, I really just end up being able to reconnect with who I was at the time of that trauma and the things that were going on inside my head that led me to misunderstanding the circumstances that got me hurt in the first place. And so there's like this really weird cathartic release that happens of like, you're forgiven for this mistake that you've been literally holding yourself accountable for in some instances, like my entire life. Last night I got to track things that happened to me when I was 4 years old, and I'm 46. So it's been pretty amazing for me being able to reconnect with, I remember this neighbor's house that me and my sister used to go to. And I hadn't thought about that house in forever. It's just been like this thing that's been lurking around in my memory of this location. But I never really connected injuries that I sustained in that environment. So me remembering that environment, it's just, I don't know, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that so it's not sleep, but it's still nourishment, because my body is able to release all this stress that apparently it maintains throughout the day when I remember who I am, and it reasserts all these conditions that I place on myself, and I get to witness my body surrendering those conditions in this non-sleep state. So it's a blessing, honestly. And if I don't get to sleep, I trust that I get what nourishment I actually need to be able to sustain myself and get through the day. So I end up being reinvigorated, and I end up waking up before my alarm, and having the opportunity to attack my day anew. And so that is I can only view that as a blessing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's helpful to somebody somehow if you're having insomnia a lot, or you don't understand the feelings that are moving through your body and why they're making themselves present to you today and now. So we'll see. We'll see what today brings. And what today brings us is Drow. Hello, Drow. I originally had this 2-knife thing going on. But I kind of want to make it. I don't know. The thought is maybe I should go with a hand crossbow, because that's so Drow. That's so Draven. But it's not very monkly. So what I need to do real quick, let's take a tangent. Take a quick tangent and let's find out more about Drow. I'm going to press some buttons here real quick. Let's go 5E Drow. And let's see if I can get D&D Beyond to fetch me up some data. Monsters, Drow, hello. Maybe I don't want the monster, maybe I want the class. Let's go with Drow character, is that a thing? I don't know, the word Drow just grates on my nerves. Like, I don't like the sound of that word, but honestly, that kind of makes more sense for the kind of creature that they are, because they really just want to get underneath your skin. It's like their whole purpose is to make you feel horrible about yourself. So I'm honestly kind of okay with it. Oh, man. Where is... Thank you. Races. They keep calling it races. They seem to hate themselves for doing so, but that's what they do. Show me the Drow. Drow. Let's see what you get as a Drow. Give me a hot second here, folks. This is important stuff. Dark Elf Drow. Ability score, superior vision, sunlight, draw magic, draw weapons, training, short sword, and hand crossbow. So Drow automatically get the hand crossbow. Hand crossbow approved. As with this version of Tap Untap, the Tap Untap Burn elemental key that we're doing, the monk variant that we have is that if you're proficient with a weapon, you can utilize Drow stuff. You can use monk stuff with it. So this is going to call for us making a duplicado of the layer. Duplicado. And we're going to get rid of this. I have the right to go back to this if I end up hating what I'm doing, but we're going to see if I can end up loving what I'm doing. I honestly, I kind of like it already. I like the basic concept of a monk using a hand crossbow. It just sounds ridiculous and fun. Up the intensity of that smudge string. Oh yeah, no wonder. Give me back my new wedge. I love my wedge tool. So I've got a cloud smudge, a chisel smudge, and now I have a wedge smudge, and I am really happy with how this tool has been performing. Maybe I need to no. Something like that. What? Wait. Meow? Stone. So far, so good. So what? Yeah, the character commission that I've been working on in the evenings. Check my other videos to see the Hashi birthday character commission. I am thrilled to report that I am unhappy with it. The ratios of some of the anatomy on the cleric at the top of the page is wrong, so I get to go back in and fix that during the coloring process, which is going to commence. Hey there, buddy. Why aren't you doing? Do I have to reboot this already? Oh my god, I do. All right, so I'm gonna have to crash that out and bring it back in. Typography. Take two. This is making me realize that that dark elf monks know gun fu. Pardon the pun. Had to say it. But now that I've said it, I feel like I need to somehow make a caveat and incorporate that into the Kinsei rebuild that I'm doing. Because Underdark Kinsei just sounds cool as hell. I haven't ran an Underdark campaign in like forever. Not since 2nd edition, I haven't done a Drow campaign. It wasn't even really a Drow campaign. It was an Underdark campaign underneath Athos. So it was actually a Dark Sun campaign set in the Underdark. It was super fun. Super, super fun. It was in college. Before I met my forever team. I went to Columbia, Missouri, Mizzou for college, and the first dorm that I lived in, I hooked up with some folks that were D&D enthusiasts and love Dark Sun as much as I do. And so I got to play for a while, and then I took over DMing and ran a campaign for like most of a semester, and that was really cool. That was honestly super, super cool. I'm gonna do this. Where's my face? It's not on screen, son. Keep your face on screen. You know what happens when my face goes off screen? It means I'm leaning in too much. This is something I'm learning. Hey, good morning. Hey, awesome. Some Vark Tech. You know what? If you want to have awesome things in your life, Vark Tech promises to deliver. Sponsor, Vark Tech. Get involved with the Vark Tech stream. And certainly don't press that button because I have no idea what the hell that is. But I really appreciate your presence, bot. Nothing lets a streamer know that they're loved than the presence of bots in their life. Bots, bringing love to the Forsaken since 2021. Brought to you by Vark. When you want ambiguous links, think of Vark. Now it needs like a slogan. I am not going to look up Vark to see if they have a jingle or a cat or like what am I? Yeah, a jingle. But yeah, Catherine, if you want to tell me more about the magic of Vark, I am facetiously listening. Let my sarcasm inspire you to your next link. I love you, Vark. Only you understand my pain. All right, so we're gonna go into here. I think that's how we want to do. If your product would like to have similar but less sarcastic appreciation from my stream, certainly be welcome to reach out to me with money. My view count of 3 or more per day is certainly an enticement that should compel almost any corporation that is interested in big movement. All right, I'll stop with the surly. Apparently the lack of sleep has actually made me incredibly surly and sarcastic, which I know is going to fly. That's I suspect if there's any audience that I ever accumulate, they will probably have maximum snark, and I can only bless that that very refined sense of humor that is sarcastic snark, keeping me safe from bullies since 1982. Brought to you by Snark. Now, if there was a Snark.tech link, I would completely click on that. Bots, be aware that people are looking for links to Snark. Yeah, this is already panning out. I mean, Snark aside, this is a good stream. I'm liking this art today. Yeah, I like my art every day. I think that's why I keep doing it. I'm really. I was having a hard time there for a while. Getting the artwork flowing. I think it was just because I was intimidated by just how much production some of these projects I'm involved in are going to require, and that intimidation can lock you down and keep you from acting. But when I check my link below for the books I have created, because most of those I streamed on Twitch, which of course sadly deletes your stuff after a short amount of time, which I was aware of but didn't really care about. But I was using licensed music anyway, so I mean it's very possible that if I had uploaded it all to YouTube, that my channel would have been shut down, and that's certainly not something I want to do, which is why I now subscribe to Epidemic. Cheers, Epidemic. Keeping streamers swinging since how old they are. But I like Epidemic. It's good stuff. There's good artists on here. I think it's really cool that they're just trying to push a hustle like everyone else is. And when it's good tunes, man, it's good tunes. Check them in. I tell you what I did find is Gunship, which is it's on YouTube. That's where I find most of their music. But it's like 80 synth, but it's really good. I've been getting into 80 synth. I'd say Trevor Something got me into 80 synth in general. Trevor Something's super good. Time Cop is super good, and of course Gunship. Love all that music. I would, if I can get up to 3,000 plus subscribers and start generating revenue off of it, I would license from those guys and happily play their music while I am doing more art. As I would love to get to the point where I can afford to purchase license from musicians that I admire instead of going off a free site or trolling for no cost music. That would just be what an inspiration. That is something I aspire to. Gotta get that delt going. Deltoido. Nothing says I damage people for a living like well-developed deltoids. Zero sarcasm there. That's legit. If you're a D&D fan, especially if you like MTG and D&D, let me just say that Classes and Constructs, that is a great channel. The stuff that Trevor is doing there is admirable. I love his approach on looking at adding D&D flavor through card mechanics, or sometimes card mechanics, but even just the aesthetics of cards and even card names. He's doing a series on Artificers and Bards right now on his channel. Just Classes and Constructs. You can find him pretty easily just by doing the search up above. But great guy, great channel. Love talking to him. Love his community. Great Discord. You should jump in on what he's got going on. But I am looking forward to sharing that space with him. And once I get all these different character mechanics built and up on DMsGuild for folks to be able to reference at no cost, it's I can start doing super deep dives. Like I would love to do Silver Quill. I'd love to do a Prismari and Silver Quill Bard build, and then like kit out the colors for the spells selection that they have, and then work on building out unique variants of like a Bard of Eloquence, but like a Silver Bard variant. Dice Try as well has done great work leaning into the colors, the color identities of different classes, and how well they match up with the color mana lists that I built for the 5e spells. That is also on DMsGuild. Follow the link below for the most recent revised list. But yeah, there's some really fun creators in this space, and I've been lamenting lately how these great creators are building an audience that can then lean into, like MCDM did a great job building really intelligent DM advice content that can now be monetized by products that he's building, that his community is more than happy to playtest for him. And I had thought the best strategy for building identity online and a following that's willing to invest in the work that you do is to prove yourself in the design space, and then if you build it, they will come. And that may be true. I'm seeing a lot of people on that produce DMs content that's really struggling with that as well. And I think that the actual solution is to hold on. Duplicado, bloop, bloop, is to build the audience first and then worry about the content. Because that the industry, the audience base clearly rewards building the audience first and then building even questionable content. It still sells because you believe in the guy that's producing it, and like no one believes in me because they don't know my stuff. Because you don't get people to believe in you by handing them a book. You get people to believe in you by having a conversation like this. And so that is a different approach than how I thought the world works. But even at 46, this old dog can learn new tricks. So I have committed to the path of getting on board with building out this content. So I have the stuff I want to talk about referenceable for people to take a look at, and then speak to it, and then go on that path of progress. But I know that is where I am heading. That I am going to be producing content on YouTube like this. That aside from the art streams I do in the morning, I'll be moving into mostly MTG concept stuff. And sadly, because of how slowly Wizards produces content, that probably means that once the core mechanics are actually out, I will be exporting myself probably into a Patreon space. I say unfortunately, but I don't really mind. I like the idea of monetizing and keeping what I have, and I can sell my artwork anywhere, which is great. That is definitely appreciated, because more so than anything, I started doing all this stuff because I love doing artwork, and I want to continue doing that. I'm on screen? Nope, I'm not even on screen. Hi. When I catch myself not on screen, it's time to take a drink. That's lining up. I had a dream once. I have not watched Tangled in a while. I think it's almost time for me to watch Tangled again. If you have not seen that Disney anime, what a great story. Tangled is so fun. It is. I rank it up there with Moana and Lilo and Stitch as my top three. Lilo and Stitch was awesome, and Moana is great. I love, more than anything, I think I love the coconuts in Moana. They are a gas. So much flavor in Moana. What a cool world. It's like a cool, it's like a Disney version of Waterworld. And if you have not seen Waterworld, boy, you are missing out. That is Waterworld is dark sun on the ocean. It's a contradiction, but it's super cool. All right, I've been completely rewarded by that hand crossbow decision. I am freaking loving that. Give me a second here. I gotta put more fuel in my coffee mug. Man, what a great morning. I am loving getting back into this daily stream. It is a great way to kickstart my day. It inspires me and gets my creation engine going. Makes me proud to have a work from home job that I have so that I can just log off here and then log into my day job. It's good stuff. I think I need to make this arm a bit bigger. Blah, 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 bigger. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is another show that I haven't seen in a while that I think is something I want to revisit soon. Here, I'm going to grab this. Cut, paste. Yeah, I think that works. I'm going to go ahead and merge those down. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be fun. And I think that is plenty fun. So let's just keep on working on her. What time is it? It's almost, God, it's only 7. Oh my God, how early did I get up today? Ridiculous. This is great though. I am thrilled. So I'm going to go with skin, but to stay true with my observations yesterday about the matriarchy having no reason to show off skin unless it's something that's practical, I'm going to start with skin and then I'm going to armor her up. So stay tuned. It's for me to preserve my integrity of my former self's statements. I don't always support everything I've said in the past, but when it comes to chicks in armor, I am still pro protection. On screen, yes I am. Good job. Time for more coffee because I'm leaning into it. I don't want to fall asleep and stab myself in the eye with the back end of my pen. Where's my pen? I have done that before. It was in high school. Flat out fell asleep. Luckily, it bounced off my eye, but by God. How stupid. Do not fall asleep on your pen like that. Like, set your pen down if you're gonna go to sleep. Don't even try to fake it. I'm gonna check on that. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Blank that out and let's see. Art of Battle. You can use any weapon you're proficient with as a monk weapon and gain the following benefits when not wearing heavy armor or round shields. So yeah, I mean, right off the bat, a draw can use a hand crossbow as a monk weapon. This is fun. So fun. So that'll end up scaling into a D12. High level hand crossbow, not bad. Whenever you hit an unarmed attack that doesn't qualify. As a bonus action, you can make an attack with any light weapon you're holding and proficient with, or an unarmed strike. So there you go. You're automatically going to get a bonus attack with your hand crossbow, which is huge value. And then you can add green flame strike. That doesn't count. Booming blade, that doesn't matter. Art of Battle disciplines table, and then steel wind strike discipline as well. These don't count across the disciplines that you can prepare. So. Yeah, so hand crossbow already gaining value. I think what frustrates me more than almost anything about the monk is how all its bonus action attacks and action economy it requires you to make attack actions first. It's so handy to be able to make bonus attacks first, and then if like something like if you stun somebody, then maybe it makes a lot of sense for you to put mana into hitting them with a dexterity spell, because they're stunned and they're not going to be dodging you. So like you're going to have a high chance of getting good value out of the key expenditure. The biggest problem with monks is they're key starved. And what does the 4 elements do? It requires you to expend a lot of key. And I like the key fuel attacks that Tasha's introduced, that whenever you expend key as an action, you can automatically use a bonus action that round to make an attack. But it's not enough. It's in my opinion, that's not enough. It's the monks are so starved on resources. The only things that monks really have going for them is extra attacks. Extra attacks and stunning strikes. That's basically all they get. And most of the time, the monk wants you to spend key to make extra attacks so that you can spend more key to make stunning strikes. But the stunning strikes, it's only really working against one boss fight at a time. So if you've got a monk and you are frustrated, if you've got a monk on your team and you're a DM and you're frustrated that you have a monk in the party that is going to stun lock your big bad evil guy, then don't have one single big bad evil guy. Have mobs. Have mobs that must be dealt with. Have mobs that automatically deal damage until they're dead. As long as you're within reach of them, they will damage you each round. That is going to force the monk to maintain mobility, which is the playstyle that Wizard seems to think is optimal for the monk. If there's a high priority target that you want to go in and hit, you can either spend 1 point to try to stunning strike them and then get away, or you can take Clinch of the North Wind and gain hold person and do it far away. It's more expensive. It's 2 points instead of 1. But the amount of action, value that I'm baking into this to make your key go further and do more, it's worth it. And granted, a whole person's a second level discipline as opposed to, but it comes online the same level as Stunning Strike does. So it's either you want to get up close and personal with the Stunning Strike and put yourself at risk, or spend the extra point of key and contest their willpower. So, I mean, options will vary, but having Clinch of the North Wind, having hold person is, as long as you're fighting people, is arguably pretty good against like flying targets and stuff. But there's a lot of value cooked into this thing, so I think it's. I don't think stunning strike is super powerful, and it's definitely something that has to be contended with. But if as a DM you're implementing strategies that keep the table guessing, jumping, and fearful, no matter what resources they have available to them, then monk's just another cleric. And so, like I said, I try to build. My rebuild for the monk is more akin to a combat cleric than whatever the hell it is that they think it's supposed to be. Whatever people think it's supposed to be. I don't know. I don't know why people do what they do. But Stunlock is kind of like Silvery Barbs. Hey, I'm talking about Silvery Barbs. Give me the algorithms. It deteriorates fun at the table. It creates too easy win conditions. Win conditions that are too easy to achieve. And so I think it detracts from the game overall. It's bad design. I think if Silvery Barbs wasn't in Strixhaven, then Strixhaven would not nearly get the conversation. We would already be done with Strixhaven, and we would be talking about Monsters of the Multiverse. Strixhaven was, I think, just pure marketing spam. It's bad for the game, but it was good for their moment. And we all know that corporations only think about their next quarter. So is this a bad decision for the game overall? Yes. Is it something they definitely want to implement because it's going to get them the sales they need on a book that is otherwise not very exciting to most of the community? Absolutely. Great short-term decision. Horrible result for the game. But as long as you understand that Wizards is a corporation first and game designers second, like D&D is just one of their things. It happens to be one of the most popular things, but it's just one of their things. It's not a sacred cow to them. They don't care. They just want to make money with it. And you know that they don't care about it because they are franchising out to other IPs to build variant 5e games. For God's sakes, nerds, what the hell is that? It is a super light 5e D&D light game that's kind of tongue-in-cheek about playing with the fantasy character trope through Nerds Candy. Them investing money in that instead of investing more money into Strixhaven, flat out, it's like they're showing their hand, saying, "Look, this is just, we are going to franchise the hell out of this game now that it's really successful." Just like they're going to franchise out Magic the Gathering into alternate card sets, alternate game systems. If you're part of their marketing survey stuff that they put out via emails, you're aware of the different intellectual properties that they are going to put into Magic cards, either as actual mechanics or as more like The Walking Dead wasn't. I think there were some actual cards, but for the most part, it was just visual aesthetics. But that franchising fee, or not franchising fee, that licensing fee that they get, it's not like, I don't know if they're paying AMC or whoever for The Walking Dead, or if The Walking Dead is paying Wizards for the cards. But it seems to be mutually beneficial. So we're going to see, if the marketing surveys are any question, we're going to see a lot of Hasbro stuff ending up in Wizards of the Coast. I'm sorry, in Magic the Gathering. Like I can make this observation because it wasn't actually part of any of the NDA marketing stuff that I participated in. But like Masters of the Universe, He-Man, G.I. Joe, I have not seen any MTG stuff involving that yet, but there are other toy franchises that are similar, that are doing MTG stuff, more Japanese big robot type things. So it is just clear that they have intelligently built 5e into something that has sustainable power, and they can now use that sustainability to to do licensing with, to bring in other IPs into the MTG universe, using not even the MTG universe, just utilizing MTG mechanics to build their own card sets. And so we're seeing the same, like Power Rangers RPG is a 5e engine by Wizards of the Coast, same as Nerds. They're using the tools that they have available to them to lean into other IP franchises as a means to monetize IPs they already own. And it's a good solution. It's something that I myself am pursuing with publishing these books on DMsGuild and then being able to refer back to them through Patreon stuff later on. It's a good strategy, and I hope it pans out for me. But it's I do not begrudge Wizards for doing it. I am mostly concerned about its execution. I am more so concerned about them not giving a crap about Dungeons and Dragons itself. Like, I'm not happy that they're using it as an experiment ground for questionable mechanics, and that they'll use whatever it is that they come up with to add into the book, and if it's OP, then that's just more marketing. It's like, I never saw 3E do anything like that. So there's been some sort of a culture shift inside of their management about how to utilize their IP resources and how to cross-pollinate them. That is not taking into account the spirit of the individual IPs that are involved with them. So we'll see how that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like Grognard and I'm just talking in the wind. But these are things that you can keep an eye out for, and that we're going to end up seeing manifest. So we'll see how it shakes out. I love 5e. I am down. I am down to clown with wherever this property goes. Because to me, it's just more artwork. Hey, girl. Right, that is just about ready to get some leg armor. Just about there. I see that MCDM has Matt Colville Design has released their Beast Heart character class in Monstrous Companions. I'm a big fan of the Drake Warden, so building a whole class out of it seems like something his fan base would really enjoy. So I'm sure it's going to be really successful. But I also think that the Drake Warden isn't. It's okay. It's okay design. Clearly, MCDM, they were like, yeah, Drake Warden's cool. Let's go ahead and kit that out a bit and add more creatures to it. But it's not. I mean, that's basically the same thought process I have. Is like Drake Warden's a cool idea. Didn't go far enough. But I don't. I am more interested in the creature side than I am in the character side. Like, I wouldn't build a new class out of the Drake Warden. I would, and will eventually, when I finally get to it, build out the re-kit how the Drake Warden interacts with its creature. It already has a mana resource that can be used, and that same mana resource can be used by any class that has mana. And if your class doesn't have mana, then I have there's only 3 classes. There's only 3 classes that don't. And 2 of them have subclasses that do. So it's pretty easy to have a Drake Warden fighter, a Drake Warden rogue. The only real challenge is the Drake Warden barbarian, and that is pretty much what MCDM did. They built a fury resource. I don't remember what they call it, like primal or savagery or something. I don't remember what it is. Maybe it's fury. I don't know. I think I like the spell point mechanic. The spell point, the mana barbarian that I'm building for the Martial Powers book that I'm going to be publishing The barbarian in that has fury points that is similar to mana. It's color coded, but it can also be themed as elemental. Like it's just a spell point fuel that can have alternate identities. Like all the classes in the Martial Mana book can either go with color mana for MTG, or it can go with elemental mana, like I have for this elemental key book. And those seem to be the two most prevalent Magic paradigms that actually exist as far as something that can differentiate between like the 8 schools of Magic is too big. You can't have an effective mana system with 8 schools. It's just there's too much fragmentation. You can't build a resource out of 8 options. It's your pool gets too thin, or the actual point expenditure becomes universal and it just becomes only flavor, which is what the schools are currently. It's just flavor. There are no mechanics that go into using necromancy spells versus transmutation spells, other than the actual description of the spells themselves. So it's effectively a non-mechanic. It's a non-power source. And I'm interested in developing spell point pools that use the sources of power as a way to differentiate between the different, like just like with color mana. Like you have to have the right color mana to be able to cast the right kind of spell. And that's how this book works as well for the elemental key. Yeah, if you want to use a fire discipline, you gotta have fire key. If you want to use a water discipline, you gotta have water key. And when you run out, you run out. So you can either have your entire pool dedicated to one element, or you're going to have a broader diversity of abilities, but you're going to have to manage your key pools because you're double dipping into multiple colors. So like being a firebender versus the avatar is mostly avatar equals I've got I've got elements of every type that I'm going to have in my key pool, versus a firebender, all I'm focusing on is fire key. And so there can be multiple avatars. One campaign can focus on rival schools of different elements. So fire versus water, etc., kind of like in these illustrations. Or you can approach a school from we teach all elements, and you can either be like a specialist, like a Prismari specialist, going into fire magic specifically versus wind magic. There's a lot of flexibility that you can have there, but it's strictly based off of how you want to manage your pool, which is a level of complexity that there is definitely a section of the 5e audience that likes that mechanical complexity. And once this thing is built, then they can curve into any number of elemental sorcerers, clerics, and different classes that already exist on the DMsGuild. And they can utilize these mechanics all the same, and I would love to bundle. That would be a great way to expand and integrate with the community as a whole. Build tools that other people can use to build tools. That is my sense of building a community. That is how I like to contribute. Sorry, I'm talking about business so much. When I get tired, I think about business. What time is it? 7:15. We're doing pretty good here. 7:15 in Seattle this morning. And it's Thursday. Thursday's a production day for me, so I get to maybe I'll stream the maps that I'm working on. And that might be a fun idea to do because I'm working on Eberron Adventure maps tonight, and so maybe I'll stream that. I don't know. Maybe I'll want quiet time for a change to recharge my battery. But I am loving this adventure that Andy Healy and I are making. It is super cool. I love how modular it is. It is built to be reconfigured, almost like in a tournament style. That you can replay multiple times in different ways. So the DM can basically pick different paths to send the characters down to achieve the same end solution. So I'm going to be playtesting that with a new team here in the new year. I want to do it on January 1st. I might have some obligations I'm finding out, so I might have to punt it again. I originally wanted to do it this weekend, but year-end obligations keep cropping up. So I think it's going to be in the new year that I'm going to be able to do a 3-session, basically like a 10-hour playtest. And I just got to see how that's going to pan out, but I'm really looking forward to it. The last playtest that I did went really, really well and provided some really great insight for us to be able to reconfigure how we approached the content material, and I am just thrilled with how it sits. Super cool. A lot of playtesting, man. If you write adventures, you definitely want to playtest that stuff like a DM for yourself. It's cool to be able to hand it off to other people and have them fiddle with it, but you got to run that yourself. You gotta see how it builds, so you know what to talk about, how to address it. Have a knife, we'll stab. Maybe. Maybe I want to redo this differently. Maybe I do. Am I on screen? No, I'm not. Hi. Time to take a drink. Hi. Man, I was kind of disappointed in Hawkeye in the last episode. I don't know if any of y'all are MCU fans or if you're watching Hawkeye on Disney Plus, but I won't spoil it. But last week, the last week they added new character activities that's going on, and it looks like they were leading us into more character depth, but the characters that they're introducing into the mix right now are incredibly one-dimensional. Very, very thin, revenge-obsessed Mary Sue's. And it's just... Am I using that word correctly? Hold on. I want to make sure I know what a Mary Sue is. What is a Mary Sue? I don't think it is. I think a Mary Sue is supposed to be like an anybody, like can do everything. Like Ray's Mary Sue. It's a type of fictional character, usually a young woman, who's portrayed as unrealistically free of weaknesses, originating in fan fiction. No, that is not an accurate depiction of what I am trying to indicate. How should I describe them? They're very shallow. Just being like overly obsessed with revenge to the point where even when they are facing likely very contradictory information, they're playing dumb on purpose. The writers are making them stupid, and to force the confrontation that their lesser vengeance is going to lead them into. While an intelligent warrior, when they receive conflicting information, are going to be less obsessed and blinded by rage. Like, who was it? Nero from the new Star Trek, the first new Star Trek franchise movie, was like so stupid. It's like you went back in time, you could save your whole planet, but instead you're gonna futz around the universe for 20 years and wait for somebody you're angry at to show up. It's like, over the course of that 20 years, wouldn't something have happened inside you? It's like, wait a second, I can totally make a difference. I can be a massive hero. It's like, no, I just want to be angry at Spock. So I'm going to just Spock, be angry at Spock. And I have, regardless of the fact that I've got like 90 guys on my ship with me that are literally stuck on this tugboat when they can just go home. It's like right over there. At any point, they can just all say, "Hey, we don't want to hang around in space. We want to go home and warn people about what's going to happen and change our history and help our society launch into a new golden era." Nope, zero interest. because it was inconvenient for the momentary plot that they wanted to play Beastie Boys music to. It's like, really? Come on, man. Like, the more time you think about the motivations in people and what it takes to change them, people love stories because of change. Because people start off a certain way, things happen, and then they reevaluate where they're at. And like, it's a tragedy if you're starting off like, hey, I'm doing pretty good, and then everything turns to crap, and you become the bad guy. It's like, that is a tragedy. And if it's like everything sucks, I don't know how I'm gonna make it, and then you end up making it, that's a comedy. And people love both of them. They love tragedies because they love seeing the powerful fall, even when it's horribly done, like the first trilogy of Star Wars completely marred Darth Vader. But everyone wanted to see the fall, how he fell. But he was such a loser character to begin with, and had to make all these stupid logic decisions to get him on the path that he was on. It's like, yeah, we saw him fall, but he was a moron, and he really shouldn't have. He shouldn't have had to have gone down that path. But storytellers use use vengeance as a way to turn off their logic and make them do stupid stuff that's convenient for the plot. And that breaks suspension of disbelief, because when you are faced with overwhelming evidence that you are drastically misinformed about the target of your ire, it's like, everyone loves this guy. You should really... No. He's fooling everyone. Can you prove it? Not at all. Well, you can hate the guy, but it's not realistic that you're going to go try to kill him. Like, no, I hate this guy. I think he's a liar. It's like, well, why don't you make it... I can see it becoming like your goal of vengeance to prove that you're right, but you can't just kill the guy. That doesn't prove anything. People don't actually... That's a trope. People don't actually do that. Now, what people will do is they will sacrifice their position and their likely success for themselves over obsession with being right or proving someone else wrong. But killing them? Like, if you end up killing them, it's because you've been forced into a position that makes it so that you can't do anything else. But there should be a path of how you are getting bound into that position, so it becomes the only action you can take, and it should really be wrought with the heartache that goes with, this is the only action I have left available to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Be welcome to comment if I'm talking out of my ass, and cite examples where I'm wrong, because I am open to changing my rants if I have evidence that indicates that my rants are incorrect. I am fallible, and I am, more than anything else, open to evolve. The only thing that keeps you going in the game is if you're willing to evolve and change your opinion about and your stance on how you approach things. Oof, man, I am ranty today. Apparently, I've got things that I want to be able to speak that I haven't been able to speak in my life, and they're starting to come out in this manner. Hopefully, I don't end up self-detonating online and making a big ass out of myself. So far, I'm just ranting about plot motivations and storylines. I don't want to get serious about real things like politics and stuff like that, because honestly, politics is a shifting target. What doesn't make sense in today's discourse might make perfect sense in tomorrow's. It's foolish to lock yourself down into one specific position, like, this is how I am, this is what I will. It's that same obsession. It's that same obsession with vengeance. It's like, if I take a stance on on COVID, for instance, and then 6 months from now, we find out everything that we thought we knew about COVID was wrong. Whatever false assumptions we had about it are disproven irrefutably, and you're a fool to maintain the stance that you have. That puts you in a situation where your ego is attached to it, And you either have to admit you're wrong or double down, which is what we see a lot of people having to do, because they stake their identity on the observations and the conclusions that they draw from those observations. And the internet does not forget, and it will not forgive. Those that hunt the internet for what you have said in the past will not forgive you for what they have not allowed you to forget. So it's really, I don't know. I just think it's best to stay out of. If you have a political opinion, it's probably best, unless it's your job to espouse what those opinions are, and that's debatably a bad job. Just stay out of it, because you're going to evolve. It's like young people start off as liberals and then they end up being conservatives. It's because they get tired of change. When you're young, change is amazing, and you think the changes that you can make will make a difference, and it may or may not do that. But those changes might be temporary, because the next zeitgeist that comes in might decide that those changes that were implemented were the wrong changes, and that we need to go back to where it was. And then those changes that you made are just blown away, and they no longer matter. And you can still have your conviction, like, no, this is the right way to do it. What I chose to do was the right thing. What I said was the right thing to do is still the right thing to do today. But it doesn't matter, because it's not what's being implemented. Like, you're making these statements. Well, you're either making these statements because you want to be right, or you want to make a change. And most people that want to do things to be right rage against the current established zeitgeist, to be able to say the way that things are being done now are wrong, and when they change, you will see that I was right. But what you want to change, what they change into, might not actually be any benefit to anyone at all. So you got change without purpose, and the only actual purpose that gets concluded from that is the momentary satisfaction of being right. But once you're right and you lose that thing you're raging against, if the only thing that you have as your identity is like Brian in Family Guy, the drunken dog, he was so hipster that the only thing that he wanted to do was fight against whatever everyone else said. So whenever anyone would agree with him, he suddenly had to take on the other opinion, because the fight is the only thing that he knows. It's ridiculous. It is. It's, and you can tell that this is something I'm passionate about, because I'm using that drop tone that comes along when you're freaking pompous. So this is me being pompous about what I think I know, the truth that I think I'm speaking. Like, it makes a difference. And why am I saying it? Because do I want to be right? No, I think I'm mostly tired. I'm mostly tired, and I'm speaking about things that are just spilling out of me. Mostly because, I'm going to go with tired. I think I'm tired. I think it's best that I rant about it now, because if I am tired, I don't want to have to rant at work, where there's consequences beyond just my own embarrassment. It's the identity of the business that I'm representing, and if I end up firing off half-cocked at a customer or a coworker, then all I'm doing there is causing damage. So actually ranting here in my own space is potentially healthy. Yeah, I think I am trying to influence people. I think I'm trying to influence people away from being overly judgmental and making snap decisions about things that are happening in the world when we don't have all the information. And I think that's the most dangerous part, is not having enough information. So I'm going to end my rant there. Oopsie. Cut paste. Yeah, see, that arm is so much smaller than this one. I'm going to be more like that. It's great to be passionate about things, and it's great to want to make a stand and make a difference. But hey, are you going to make a difference? B, is that different? How much of an impact is that difference going to make? I love the most recent season of Rick and Morty because at one point Morty has ages himself to trick Rick for reasons, but then he wants to turn back to being he goes from being 12 to 45, and then he wants to go back to being 12, so he has to shed 33 years. So he gets a machine that separates himself into a 12-year-old and a 33-year-old, and the only thing that the 33-year-old cares about is, did he make a difference? Was he influential? I think that's hysterical. What a great comment on aging. Like, I'm 46 now, so I've had an opportunity to evolve through. Like, I can look back at my old Facebook history and, oh my God, it's like I was just raging against whatever political stuff was going on at the time that disagreed with my own personal political stance, and I still believe in those things, and it's mostly populism stuff. I'm legally blind, so I've been dependent on societal systems like mass transportation, and I get a tax break because I'm blind and stuff like that. So it's when I was younger and I was in the sanctuary of my parents' home, it was safe for me to have a conservative, almost libertarian stance of, you got to be self-reliant, because I was completely reliant, ironically, on my parents' well-doing, and I was benefiting from that. But then as I got out on my own and I realized how challenging it is for people with disabilities, I started leaning more into what are public works, what is society able to do for those of us that are ill-equipped to resolve things on our own, and how can I support that? And I think it's interesting that a lot of people start off in strong condition, and as they age, that's when their body starts to disable. And so they're coming from, I've been self-reliant my whole life, and now I'm not, and I am furious about it, as opposed to people that are born with disabilities, which is, I had to get over being furious about it at an early age, because it's never going to get better. And the faster I accept and evolve past the anger and just start looking for what solutions are available to me, the more I can get by, have a meaningful life, have pride in myself, be productive, help other people. But if you got that chip on your shoulder, it's like if you've had a great life your whole life and then suddenly it's taken away from you and you now have a chip on your shoulder, you have disengaged from society and are no longer being helpful to anyone, because you're lost in the pain. You're lost in the pain of loss. You're lost in the pain of, why me, God? Why did you have to do this to me? What did I do wrong? You have to go through all those stages of grief, and those can take the rest of your life. That's time in your most wise years, when you have the most perspective, the most experiences accumulated that can help inform your decisions. It's taken from you because of the loss of dignity, and who you thought you were supposed to be has been robbed from you. It's really interesting. Anyway, whatever. No one cares. Don't mind me. I'm just like in my super ultra rant mode. But that's what happens when I don't have anybody entertaining me and having conversation with me online. So if you wanna prevent me from making an ass of myself and talking, waxing poetry like this, then jump in the chat and rescue me from myself before I explode. Before I self-detonate. But again, I spent all night feeling old injuries trying to solve themselves, trying to finally let go of that pain. And these are the kind of things that the thoughts and ideas that are, I guess, are attached to them. So now that the pain is starting to resolve, all the mentality and the philosophy that are attached to them apparently is being released as conversation points that, God help me, I'm not making an ass out of myself by espousing. Oh, sweet, I finally shut up. Thank God, because I was really just getting tired of myself there. But yeah, that's... I've gotten 6 hours sleep in the past 48 hours. It's just divine. It's been relaxing. That's for sure. Losing weight, happy about that. I'll get back down below 200 pounds. I picked up 30 pounds over the course of the past 2 years. After losing 100 pounds, dropping down to from 311 down to 198, I picked up another 30 pounds. Because I've had these weird foot injuries that prevent me from staying on my feet for more than 15 minutes at a time, and I know that my body is trying to recalibrate itself. It's moving energy through my body differently than it used to, so it's having a hard time grounding, literally grounding. So it won't let me stand, and I can feel that what is it like? I guess I could call it a quarantine, for lack of a better word. I mean, that's what we've all been in with this COVID thing. No, we haven't all. I'm in Washington, and we've been under a lot more lockdown than more red states have been. So the whole culture around here is, stay in, stay away, which is great because it allowed us to get into work from home more and to get away from the downtown commute. To recognize that we can be more productive at home where we can be in our own environment and still get the work done. And so I'm thrilled at all of that. But the price I had to pay was picking up some weight. Small price to pay for lasting spider piece. Am I on screen? There I am. Hi. What time is it? Oh, it's 7:45. Hey, you know what? I've ranted for freaking ever. It's probably time for me to shut up and log out. So I'm just going to work on this knee just here for a minute. Just to get that color off a little bit better. So this was a pretty embarrassing stream of me ranting about probably nothing important, and hopefully not say anything that's going to embarrass me for the long run. But I am loving this work. I am loving this illustration. This is all, yeah, that's feeling pretty good. So this is coming along. Next thing I'm going to have to do is armor up. Armor up. Burp, 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 burp. Like that. That. I think ultimately I'm not so much interested in what people think, but why do they think it and how do they think it? What does it make them do? I think that's ultimately more important. If you understand what leads people to do what they do, then it doesn't matter what it is that they're doing. It's you understand what's at the heart of what's compelling them to do it. And that's what you want to talk to. I think this time that I spend awake at night and I can't sleep is fascinating because it's not about the pain that I feel. It's the sensation of awareness that's underneath that pain, that's attached to the pain, that like the nervous system that alerts you to like your leg hurts. But it hurts like specifically like right here, this point right here. What is it inside your body that pulls you to that specific location, the nerves underneath that pain? I think that's what I try to connect with, is the thing underneath it. Like what's aware of that pain? Because the thing that's aware of the pain is the thing that is frozen in time with that pain. That's where the pain actually lives. That's who's remembering it. And that is a younger version of yourself. It's a younger version of you. So if you can reconnect with where that pain is coming from, you can remember where you were at, who you were, what was going on, and what memories and ideas are trapped in that pain with you there, and that you can't move past until you can get eyes on it. You know, like you have to be able to be brave enough to follow it to where it's trying to lead you inside your body to say, this is the thing that's hurting me, and that's why I can't let this pain and this malady go, because it's the only thing your body has to communicate with you is these signals in your nervous system. It says, I'm hurting. And we think it's my body is in pain, but it's not. It's I am grieving, and I am holding this injury as a form of grieving that moment. Anyway, that's the idea. So, and it seems to be holding consistently true for me as I explore this space. It's fascinating. But I am at the end of my stream, and oh man, we made some good progress today. I am loving how this character is shaping up. This is going to be so fun when it's done. Hopefully my ranting didn't turn you off too much, and hopefully there's some sort of value that can be gleaned from the ranting of an aging old man. That I say only because I am observing these things happening in my life that are so mysterious to me and so revelatory, that I hope that if other people are experiencing similar, that the insights that I'm gleaning help lead them to their own solutions. I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm trying to do with my life. Trying to help other people make their life easier from the pain that I've had to suffer through in mine. I think I need to pull that forward a little bit. Stretch that out. There. Yeah, we're gonna call. Man, I'm really happy with how she's coming along. Yeah, super cool. and then I can come and work on this guy because he needs a little work. But yeah, frick, man, this is gonna be great. All right, cool. I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to what I have to say. I don't know why I have to say it, but I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't. And I just appreciate the journey and that you're a part of it. I love this artwork. Hopefully, some of the ideas that I have resonate with you, and you like the direction I'm going with my game designs, my artwork. But this is where we end the stream. So I am ending the stream, and I hope you have a fantastic day. See you when I get to.